Okay. Good evening, folks. This is the March 1st meeting of the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission. We're at 32, we're at the Community Center at 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut. I have a couple things to read to you that we read before every meeting, just about how we handle meetings. First of all, when I get finished, we're going to read the legal notice for the meeting, and then after we do that, we'll start applicants that are here to make presentations. We'll call on them, and there's an agenda in that order. And at that point, when you have finished with your presentation, the commissioners will ask questions, or they're going to ask questions of the audience, if they have any questions of the applicant, and then we will ask for people in the audience to comment whether they're for or against the project. We'll do that through the whole process. As this is a public hearing and it's on the public record, when you come up to make your presentation, please stand in front of the microphone and identify yourself clearly so we know who you are. At the conclusion of all the applications, people that are here may choose to stay if they want, or they can go. We will make some decisions tonight. Others, because of the way the regulations work, would be pushed off to a second meeting. And if we do make any decisions at this meeting tonight, the minutes of the meeting or the information on the decision will be available tomorrow at the town hall after 9:30 in the morning. And any decision we make is challengeable by you in Superior Court. You have that option. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that tonight, seated, well, let's go through the people that are here. George Underhill, Rich Wallace, Tom Cost, Ellen Brown, Ray Bauer, Rich Meyer, Josh Hirschman, Phil Johnson, and Frank DeAndrea. George Crowell from the staff, Lisa Brewer, and Peter Schultze. Okay, would you please read the official call?
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on March 1st, 2017 at 7:30 p.m., location being the Nathaniel B. Green Community Center, 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut, in the Mononkatuk Room on the second floor for the following purposes. Christensen Landscape Services, LLC, 270 Old Quarry Road, Map 12, Lot 78A, Zone R5, Coastal Area Management, to remove and replace in-ground swimming pool and replace section of retaining wall, Section 273-91. Gregory Wright, 67 Half Mile Road, Map 80, Lot 115, Zone R5, special permit, accessory apartment over 750 square feet, Section 273-94. Copies of these applications are available for inspection in the office of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Town Hall South, 50 Boston Street, Guilford, Connecticut. At this hearing, persons may attend and be heard, and written communications will be received. Dated at Guilford, Connecticut, this 8th day of February, 2017. Tom Cost, Chairman.
Thank you. For the record, we're missing one permanent member, and tonight I'm going to appoint Phil to be the alternate seated member tonight. Okay, the first thing up is Christensen Landscape Services, LLC, 270 Old Quarry Road, Map 12, Lot 78A, Zone R5, Coastal Area Management, to remove and replace in-ground pool and replace section of retaining wall, 273-91.
Good evening. My name is Linda Dow. I am with Criscola Engineering, and I'll be doing the presentation for this project. And if I may begin?
Could you just turn that a little bit more so that the members of the commission, that's good, right there, yep.
Okay. The subject property is 1.4 acres in size. It is bounded to the west by Long Island Sound and to the east by Old Quarry Road. There is a single-family residence that is at the central portion of the lot, and an existing in-ground swimming pool with pool patio located on the northwest side of the existing house. The proposed project would entail the removal, filling in of the existing pool, patio area located on the northwest side of the house, and the construction of a new in-ground swimming pool with patio on the southwest side of the house. Also included in the proposed work is the removal of a approximate 3 to 4 foot high landscape retaining wall that would need to be removed in order to facilitate the installation of the new swimming pool. Access to the construction activities would be from Old Quarry Road via the existing gravel driveway for work to be done on the existing pool and patio, and also through a temporary construction entrance that would be constructed 8 feet wide for the work to be done for the new pool and patio area. The critical coastal resources that are located on adjacent to the site are there are rocky shorefronts located along the westerly side of the property, bordering on Long Island Sound, the coastal waters of Long Island Sound. There is a beach, area off-site to the south. On the exterior portions of the site are located within a VE flood hazard zone, elevation 15. The main portion of the site is located upland from the flood hazard area in the shoreland area. Erosion and sedimentation controls will be in place for the duration of the project work and until the site is completely stabilized. There'll be silt fencing installed upslope, or immediately downslope from the project work. In addition to that, there are already some natural barriers in place via the existing walls that are located on the property. All of the project work will be out of the V zone. They'll be in the Zone X zone, as well as being above the CJL elevation also. I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone has at this point.
Letters. Tom, can I read? Sure. I'll start with that. This is from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environment Protection, dated January 31st. Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Dear Commissioners, thank you for referring this application for coastal site plan review received January 27th, 2017 to us for review and comment. Project description: the subject property is a 60,835 square foot waterfront lot in the R5 district which hosts a single-family residence and attached garages. The applicant proposed to remove an existing swimming pool and construct a new swimming pool on another part of the site. Most of the site is in the X flood zone. The proposed demolition work and proposed new construction of the swimming pool will occur in the 10 flood zone with no disturbance to land in the VE 15 flood zone or any land disturbance waterward of the coastal jurisdiction line CJL. Coastal resources on the site include coastal hazard area VE 15 and 10, rocky shorefront and shorelands. Conclusion: the project appears to be consistent with the CCMA, provided erosion and sedimentation control measures are installed in the areas of land disturbance in accordance with the 2002 CT guidelines for soil erosion and sedimentation control. And she references the website, including hay bales or silt fencing, ringing any stockpiles of soil on site. We hope these comments are helpful to the Commission pursuant to CGS Section 22A-110. We request that these comments be read into the record at a public hearing for this application. If we can be of further assistance to you in this or any other coastal management of Long Island Sound related matter, please feel free to contact me at 860-424-3138. Sincerely, Carol Seismeski, Environmentalist Analyst 2.
Would someone read the letter from Kevin McGee, please?
Okay.
Dated February 28th from Kevin McGee, Environmental Planner, RE Coastal Area Management Application 270 Old Quarry Road, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437, Assessors Map 12, Lot 78A. The applicant is proposing to remove the existing in-ground swimming pool and install a new in-ground swimming pool adjacent to the southwest corner of the house. The mitigation measures noted in the Coastal Area Management application provide for erosion and sedimentation control measures. that are designed to protect the adjacent coastal resources as long as they are properly installed and maintained. The Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection regulates the discharge of pool water and requires pool contractors to be registered under the general permit for the discharge of swimming pool wastewater. The general permit provides the standards that the contractor must follow while working on the pools, which include limits on chemicals being discharged and requirement to discharge to subsurface infiltration system. In order to make sure that the coastal resources are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. 1, the Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to site construction. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and/or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. And 2, all discharges from the swimming pool be on the subsurface infiltration system and be discharged in accordance to the latest version of the Connecticut Deep General Permit for discharge of swimming pool wastewaters.
And there's one more letter from the Director of Health, Dennis Johnson, dated today. Did you get that?
Actually, we make it.
Okay, it's pretty simple. The applicant's proposed pool location will not conflict with the operation or location of the septic system currently existing on site. Do you need a copy of it or no? You could have it if you
Oh,
want.
thank you very much.
Okay, that's all the written letters we have. Does anybody from the commission have any questions about this, Phil?
How far back is it from the CJL?
Oh, it is, actually. Horizontally, the project work is, it's about 50 feet. And there's also a vertical, obviously, differential too with that.
Does your client agree with all of the requirements and suggestions made by the letters just read?
Yes, we do, yes.
And you get that in writing?
I do not have that in writing now.
And how firm is it to follow that?
They will, from previous conversations, I know that they're anxious for the project work to be initiated. I do not have that in writing, but that is something I could provide to the
I think
commission.
it'd be advisable.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the commission?
How high is the sea level at the pool? What's the sea level rise?
You mean the elevation?
I'm saying the sea level rise is set as far as how deep the water is at a high tide and how high your property is above that high tide line.
Above the high tide line. The elevation of the property in the area that the project work's going to be done is at elevation somewhere around anywhere between 18 to 30 on this side. And the high tide elevation is around 5 in respect to that, in that area approximately. So it's about there's a good vertical differential on the work, which is,
In front of it between 18 to 30 feet? Or is that just two spots you're naming? In
no,
other words,
it's,
what I'm getting at is if we had a storm, a serious storm, and it was 15 feet above sea level like the last one was, and that water gets, the seawater gets into the pool, and then it is flushed back out into the water.
the property, the upland part of the property where the pool is going to be constructed is, where the new pool is at elevation 28, 30, 28. It's where the existing pool is, it's around 30. That's the elevation of the whole area where the new pool and patio are going to be.
Right in the middle there between the water and right there, what is
Right
the-
around here, this is elevation 13, right here.
Okay,
And then it goes up to 24 right here,
all right.
if that.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Any questions from the audience? Okay, any comments from the audience? None? Okay, would someone please close this portion?
So moved. Second?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next up is Gregory, you're all set.
Thank you very much.
Gregory J. Wright, 67 Half Mile Road, map 80, lot 115, zone R5, special permit accessory apartment over 750 square feet. It's pertinent regulations are 273-94. This is the first of two hearings. This is the first hearing. The next hearing will be 315.
Good evening, Eric Anderson, Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates here in Guilford. With me this evening is Mr. Gregory Wright, and he and his wife own the property that's the subject of the request for an accessory apartment. The house was built in 2004. The existing garage was built in 2006, and there is up over the garage at the present time is a room. We came to the board back in 2010 and got approval for a human habitation for like guest quarters. That was September 1st, 2010. We got that approved. Back up just a minute. This property is at 67 Half Mile Road. It's on Assessor's Map 80. It's lot 115 in the R5 zone district. And the structure is over 750 square feet. And they desire to change that that current use into an accessory apartment for Mrs. Wright's father. As I said, the garage building has existed since 2006, so it meets the 10-year requirement. There are in excess of the 3 parking spaces required on the lot. And Cynthia Wright, as the owner, has certified before a public notary to the requirements that someone who owns the property lives on the property. We have, we place a sign out in front. We also notified everyone in the area that we were supposed to notify. There's the picture of the sign that we placed. This is an aerial picture of the property from Google. And we took a picture of the house and the garage as they exist, so that you can see that it meets the requirement that that it conforms to the architecture. We did go to the Zoning Board of Appeals because that room upstairs was larger than the 1,000 square feet. And so we did go to the Zoning Board of Appeals in January and received approval to go to the existing 1,130 square feet. And that's a copy of the zoning decision.
Does staff have copies?
Excuse me?
Do they have, the staff, do they have a copy of it?
That was put in with the application, yes. But in case that didn't get to your packets, I figured I'd send it around.
Thank you.
So we feel we meet all the requirements, and there is access to the apartment through the garage downstairs, and also an outside stairway and deck for access. So we're asking for your approval of this as an accessory apartment.
The application says it's over 750 square feet. Could you tell me how big it actually is?
Well, the building itself, that 750 square feet, that pertains to the building itself. And the total building is, I think the total building is about 2,000 square feet, because it's a big garage down at the bottom, and then the 1,100 square feet up top.
Thank you.
There's a letter here from Dennis Johnson. Did you receive it?
I talked to Dennis about this a couple of weeks ago, so I was expecting a letter.
All right, so it's dated today, and the applicant's proposed accessory apartment is currently connected to the expanded house septic system and complies with public health code requirements. It is recommended that the applicant's proposed special permit be approved. I had a question about the parking spaces. I mean, you just said, I mean, it looks like from the pictures, there's a lot of parking, right? It's more than 3, would you say there's like 4 or 5 or 6 parking spaces?
There's a two-car garage attached to the house,
Yeah.
and then there's room for 2 cars in the garage, and there's room for 4 or 5 cars between the house and the garage. So they could have some big parties and still not get onto the right-of-way and jam anybody up.
Question I have is this, the variance was contingent upon there being a fee paid to $53. Has that been done?
That was paid, and the application was filed in the town clerk's office, as was required for all variances.
Reggie, before she went on vacation, did the checklist, and with the variance granted, it conforms to the zoning code.
So it conforms?
Yes.
She signed off on it, okay. So, George, you've asked some questions. Does anybody else from the commission have any questions? Is there anybody in the audience that have any questions? Okay, so I guess we move this to be continued to the 15th of March.
So
Someone-
moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you're all set.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Could somebody move for the revised agenda?
Second.
Okay. So the one that we can,
Sir?
Mr. Wright, so I guess the one that we want to discuss and is Christensen Landscaping.
I'll make a motion. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a CAM application for Christensen Landscaping Services LLC, 270 Old Quarry Road, map 12, lot 78A, shown on a coastal resource map property located at number 270 Old Quarry Road, prepared by Crisculo Engineering LLC, dated 1/17/2017. This application is approved with the following conditions: that all of the environmental planner's conditions on his letter to the commission be conformed to. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code and is consistent with the coastal management policies of the state of Connecticut.
Second.
Discussion about this? It meets all the requirements, right?
I bet you the old pool didn't have to have a separate management, it's probably better. Seriously.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so why don't we vote on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. So we're done with the public hearings for tonight. We can move on to subdivisions. William Gauzy, 591 Westlake Avenue, map 89, lot 14, zone R7 subdivision, application for a 6-lot subdivision.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Michael Harkin. I'm a professional engineer and principal of Harkin Engineering, located at 78 Wolf Hollow Lane in the town of Killingworth, Connecticut. Here tonight on behalf of my client, Bill Gozi, for his project titled Blackberry Ridge, to be located at 591 Westlake Avenue. The owner applicant is Mr. Gozi. He's been here for a long time. He's the owner of Gozi's Turkey Farm. The land surveyor of record is sitting down right now, Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates. The civil engineer is our firm, Harkin Engineering, and the soil scientist on the property was Mr. Richard Snarsky from New England Environmental Services. So again, the subject parcel is located at 591 Westlake Avenue. Previously, it used to be a farm. It's located in the R7 zone. It's comprised of approximately 16.7 acres. You can see here's Westlake Avenue in this vicinity. There's 1, 2, 3 large ponds. They were man-made ponds on the subject site, again, because it was farmed. So our first lot, parcel A, is up in front. It borders Westlake Avenue. We do have a rear lot, lot number 1, that's in the back, and then we have lots 2, 3, 4, and 5 for a total of 6 lots. Parcel A is basically an as-of-right free split, and then we have 5 additional lots. As you can see, there's a lot of wetlands on the subject site. We do have 1 small wetlands crossing in this vicinity to get over to lot number 1. The Wetlands Commission has approved this plan, as well as the Health Department, so we do have approval for all 6 lots and the driveway crossing from wetlands, as well as all 6 lots for the septic systems and the wells from the Health Department. I believe there's some letters that will be in the file. Additionally, Mr. Kevin McGee has reviewed it, and we've even reviewed it with the town engineer. I believe that there might be a letter in the file from the town engineer as well. So as part of our plan set, we have a grading, utility, and erosion control plan. As you can see, we actually have 3 separate driveways, one for lot number, or parcel A, a double driveway for lots 2 and lots 1, and then a long driveway that's 18 feet wide for a portion for lots 3, 4, and 5. Again, the lots all meet all the planning and zoning regulations as far as size, building squares, and setbacks. We do have considerable amount of area being granted for open space on this subdivision. You can see this line in here. Almost half the lots are getting donated as in a conservation easement for open space. The next part of our project plan set is all the requirements from the soil testing that was done, the septic designs, and the percolation test. And then the following sheet is all the notes as far as best management practices with the silt fence and how the physical lot construction is going to go. So with that being said, again, we do have approval from the Health Department and wetlands. It is a 6-lot subdivision for Mr. Gozi. There is no road work to be done. It's all basically handled with driveways that conform to the town of Guilford driveway standards. So with that being said, I think that's the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
What's the maximum number of lots you can serve with a private driveway?
I believe it's 3.
Okay.
3, and then there's a caveat to that, that when you come in, once you get past the first lot with the driveway, it can go from 18 and neck down to 12. We are going down to 12, correct.
So at the end of the driveway, it'll be 12 feet
Yeah,
wide?
what happens is, right off Westlake Avenue,
Yep.
for example, we have 3 lots being served. It's 18 feet all the way to this point, and then it necks down to 12. And then you can see this driveway turnaround's a lot bigger than all the rest. That's for the fire truck turnaround after. You might see this one that goes all the way back to lot number 1. Again, we have access for a fire truck turnaround.
What was each lot size?
Each lot size. I can go square footage for you, right off the top of my head. Parcel,
Just like around it. Are they all?
80,000, so almost 2 acres. This one's 120, almost 3 acres, 121, 120, and 120. So they're fairly large-sized lots. Again, because they have the ponds in the back, we elected to just make that an easement with the conservation placards that will go back there, so half the lot, is virtually bisected and will remain as, pristine state.
So the 120 square feet, how much of that is
We'll take this one, this is lots 121, almost in half, 60,000 thereabouts will be split. And then you can see the same thing on this one. This is the full lot, and then this is the split. Full lot, and then the split.
So when taking into consideration the requirements for the lot size, it includes the wetlands as part of the total?
Part of the total, yes.
Because you could have
Yeah, exactly. Again, we meet all the regulations and the requirements. 40,000 square feet of dry buildable area, which we do have up on each lot.
There's a letter here from Kevin McGee, that I'll read it into the record. It's dated February 28th. The applicant has proposed to divide a 16.27 acre lot into 6 R7 lots. The applicant has completed the checklist to guide low-impact development-based best management practices and is utilizing several of the recommended practices. The proposed stormwater management system is to consist of roof leaders, discharge to infiltration galleries. The plans for the project have sedimentation and erosion control procedures that are in compliance with 273-97B subsection 6 of the zoning regulations. A portion of the property contains wetlands which the applicant proposed to protect with a conservation easement. The Guilford Inland was, I think this is just reciting what the Wetlands Commission said, but I'll read it. Voted, the Guilford Inland Wetland Commission refers favorably to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The subdivision shown on map titled Record Subdivision Map Blackberry Ridge, property of William E. Gozzi, 591 West Lake Ave, Guilford, Connecticut, prepared by Anderson Engineering, dated November 17, 2016, and revised to January 24, 2017, with the condition that a conservation easement be placed on the property in order to protect the on-site wetlands, and the conservation easement documents allow for the once-a-year mowing of the upland portion of the conservation area. Recommendations for conditions of approval. First, the town of Guilford zoning enforcement officers should be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to site work. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and or hay bale. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable materials is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. Second, in order to prevent construction in the conservation easement area, I recommend the following conditions of approval. A, the language of the conservation easement shall be in accordance with the standard conservation easement document of the town of Guilford, with the additional note allowing for the yearly mowing of the upland portion of the conservation easement area. The terms of the conservation easement shall be made a restrictive covenant running with the land, binding on successors and assigns. If a conservation easement is not approved by town meeting, the applicant shall file a deed restriction with similar language. B, no building permit shall be issued and no site work to be conducted until the conservation easement has been filed in the town land records and the subdivision has properly marked with iron pins and signage. 3, as noted in section 272-24 of the subdivision regulations, a digitized copy of the final subdivision plan be submitted to the commission in PDF format showing all property lines. You don't have a problem with any of those?
We don't have a problem with it, but just to make it a complete record, Kevin references a revision date of 1/24/17 in his letter. The subsequent revised plan that you see in front of you is 2/14/17, and the revision for that is the Wetlands Commission had set certain standards, and we had revised the plans to add all the Wetlands Commission's requirements on our plans. So when it came to
Kevin just sort of actually just, it looks like he copied and pasted the wetlands approval, so.
Yeah.
And they had, when you were before wetlands, it was the November 17th map.
Correct.
There's also a letter here from Dennis Johnson, dated today. Soil tests conducted on the applicant's site on July 18, 2016 reviewed the presence of moderately permeability silty loam soil with evidence of seasonal elevated water table. All lots meet the requirements of the Public Health Code for classification as suitable for construction of on-site septic systems. Domestic water will be provided through construction of private wells. Engineer and design septic plans will be required in order to locate the proposed septic systems and construction facilities in accordance with the approved site development plan. Based upon soil test results and site plan review, it is recommended that the applicant's proposed subdivision be approved with the following condition. That septic system plans for each approved building lot shall be designed by a professional engineer.
We don't have a problem with that.
This refers to Block 14, what you're going to put now subdivided 6 ways. Is there room for additional development of that area?
No, there's not.
That caps it out?
That is completely at 6 lots.
Okay, thank you.
I got one more letter. This is from Mark Damiani, dated March 1st. The subject is William Gozi, 591 Westlake Avenue, map 89, lot 14, zone R7. It's proposed to create 6 lots from the main parcel. 2 driveways are proposed so that no more than 3 lots will be served by any driveway in accordance with the regulations. The proposed driveways entrances are reasonably close to each other. To minimize driveway access points on Westlake Avenue, the driveways are to be built in accordance with the subdivision regulations in the wetland crossing for the northerly driveway to be built in accordance with the Wetland Commission permit. Each house will have a stormwater system to accommodate roof and impervious cover runoff. The Westlake Avenue road shoulder along the proposed subdivision is somewhat steep with vegetation potentially obstructing driveway sight lines. Test pits dug on this parcel reveal a possible water table at 2 to 3 feet. It's recommended that if approved by the Commission, the drainage plan along Westlake Avenue driveway sightline plan and grading plan be submitted prior to the issuance of a building permit. Good.
Okay, discussion, folks? Questions? Pretty straightforward. Would someone like to read a motion?
I'll make a motion. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a subdivision application for William Gozi, 591 Westlake Ave, map 89, lot 14, for 6 lots as shown on Blackberry Ridge, 5 sheets prepared by Harking Engineering and Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates dated 1/27/17, revised to 2/10/17. Is that right? 2/14. Yeah, that's right.
Last is 2/2017.
All right, 2/2017. This application is approved with the following conditions. First, that and the conditions set forth by the environmental planner's letter dated February 28th, 2017 be incorporated, or followed, I guess. Second, that the conditions set forth by the Director of Health from the letter dated March 1st be included. And finally, that the conditions set forth by the Assistant Town Engineer in a letter dated March 1st be included. And this application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning and subdivision codes of the town.
That's what the.
Second.
We just do the regulations, we don't do the, it's not our own. All right, so that's a motion? Someone seconded? Okay, any further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up is Sunset Creek.
I'm going to have to take a Pasadena on this one.
You're going to take a Pasadena? Okay. You're sitting in on this one, George. You're seated for this one.
The question is, they built my house, and do I have a conflict here?
Do you have a conflict because they built the house that you bought?
That's correct. About 4 years ago.
No,
No conflict? Okay.
that's my opinion.
don't owe any money, do you?
Pardon me?
Do you owe any money?
I'm tapped out. You did a hell of a job.
No, you're good. Okay, I'll read, let's see, where am I on the agenda here? This one is Sunset Creek Development, Cherry Street and North River Street, map 46, lot 77, zone R1, application for a 3-lot subdivision. You again?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, again, my name is Michael Harkin. I'm a professional engineer and principal from Harkin Engineering, located at 78 Wolf Hollow Lane in the town of Killingworth, Connecticut. The land surveyor of record is here tonight, Mr. Eric Anderson from Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates, for the project entitled Millview, which is located on Cherry Street and North River Street in your town of Guilford, Connecticut. The applicant of the property, again, is Sunset Creek Development. The owners are actually JDSK LLC, Kevin Landon, who used to reside in Guilford and now lives out in Denver, Colorado. So again, the subject parcel with the location map is on the corner of Cherry Street and North River Street. It's almost directly across from Mill Pond. So if you guys are familiar with that area, we're up on top of the hill. So the subject parcel is located in the R1 zone. It's comprised of about 1.5 acres. You can see Cherry Street is down here, North River Street is down here, and the Mill Pond is down in this vicinity. Now this is a 3-lot subdivision. We have parcel A, which is here. That's a kind of a legal free split lot, We have lot 2 and lot number 1. Again, we're utilizing one sheer driveway for all 3 lots, and that is located off of Cherry Street. We'll come down. Again, we run into the same thing with the town engineer, that the first section of the driveway will be 18 feet, and then it will neck down to 12 feet. Again, something that was reviewed and required by Mr. Portley. So with this area, you see lot 1, lot 2, and the easements for access and utilities to the adjacent lots. Down here, you see a new proposed highway line in this vicinity. With this project, as requested by the town engineer, as we get in further, you'll see there's quite a bit of redesign that's happening on Cherry Street that we're required to do by the engineering office. So we'll jump right into the design plans itself for the subdivision. Again, we have parcel A here, which is a free split. We have 2 4-bedroom houses shown. Each house has a septic system and a reserve. In this project, we do have city water available. The only caveat is that the water company will not allow us to put in private wells for this site, so we have to increase the location or extension of the water main up Cherry Street right now, which is right at the intersection of North River and Cherry. So we have to run that up a couple hundred feet to provide water, so it is a water main, and then we will have private water services servicing the lots. Again, on the plans, we take care of the storm drainage, the foundation drains with on-site detention. We went into detail and showed the lets are kind of tight, so we went in there, we showed all the utilities coming off and their exact locations, as well as the grading to prove that we can get those houses in there in that driveway without any problems. These lots meet all the requirements, zoning requirements for lot area, frontage, the lot square, the front setback, the side setback. So we meet all the zoning requirements on all the lots. Here's our standard detail sheet, which shows the septic systems to be used and all the erosion control measures. And then the next sheet is called the town road improvements. Again, this has been reviewed by Mr. Portley and is a requirement. In order for this project to happen, my client has to do some road work on Cherry Street just to widen it. Right now, it's very, very narrow. So we're going to be widening that roadway area to 22 feet. We will put a crown in the road. We will have that whole section repaved. Additionally, we'll be adding a stop bar and a stop sign at the corner of North River Street and Cherry Street. And then along the area, the proposed highway line that we're giving to the town, we're putting in a drainage swale. Right now, there's no drainage on that area. So there is a high point in our driveway, so the water will flow down and then will be graded to go into this 4-foot wide by 2-foot deep swale, as well as take some of the runoff from Cherry Street and put it in that swale and get collected into I believe it's a 2,200 gallon dry well, a big dry well catch basin at the end. And the reason it's a dry well catch basin is there's gorgeous sand and gravel at this lower area of the site. So we can handle that flow with that dry well. Again, this is something that's been reviewed by Mr. Portley. We went over it again yesterday with him as far as the 22-foot wide typical town of Guilford cross-section, the pavement requirements, as well as the drainage. He did have some additional items, and I think he has a letter tonight that he submitted. One of the things is we had a single catch basin top on the dry well, just in case we got a heavy rainstorm. I believe that it was his recommendation that we go to a double type, so we can get more water and more volume into that. The other requirement that Mr. Portley had asked for, and Mr. Damiani, is that we put cross-sections and plan and profiles on the existing Cherry Street profile for the roadway. It's at a 7.5%. We're not going to be changing the grade of the road. You know, it's pretty standard where it meets the intersection. We will be putting a crown in it, though, to meet the typical cross-section of the town. Our driveway will have a small section located at a 3%, and then we'll go up to a 12%, and then once you get up on top, you're at a 2.5% virtually flat area. Again, in that section that we're talking about is this first area in here will be at a nice 3%, and then we'll get into a small area of a 12%, and then once we get to this point, it's virtually flat at a 2.5%. So, again, we meet all the requirements. We do have wetlands approval on this project, believe it or not. The 100-foot review area comes on one of the lots, parcel A, so we had to go to wetlands. We do have approval for that. We do have approval from the health department for the septic systems, and I believe your environmental analyst has also gone through and has written a letter for approval. The only one that I'm not aware of is the comments from the town engineer after we submitted the revised plans. So, again, with that being said, that's the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has regarding the project.
How wide is Cherry Street right now?
Right now, I'll tell you, based on the survey, it is, let's take the skinniest section. It's around 16 feet, so we're adding 6 feet of pavement.
And then another 4 feet of... Or no, that includes, so it's 4 feet additional, or no, yeah, another 4 feet of...
Yeah, it's 16 now, so we're going to 22 black, and then from there, we're putting a 2-foot grass shoulder and then a 4-foot swale.
Oh, okay, so there's a grass shoulder in
There's like
between.
a 2-foot grass strip, so we give transition from when that water comes off, it's got time to infiltrate and then can get in the swale.
Two quick questions. Is there a plan for the undeveloped lot now? Or is
We did do a plan to prove that you can build on that. That was part of the original plan set that we submitted back on November 2nd. You may have seen this project on the agenda a couple times. Again, we submitted it a while ago, and the reason for that is the requirements that we had to go through for the Cherry Street road design with the town engineer. There was a lot of information, extra survey and things that we needed to go and get. So a lot has transpired since that first plan set that we submitted. But that plan set did show the parcel, the house, all the grading as well.
And what are the lot sizes after the subdivision, and what are the requirements for the zoning code?
Yeah, for example, in this area, the lots are very, very small, only 10,000 square feet for a building lot. Lot number 1 is 27,666. Lot number 2 is 23,250. So lot number 1 is almost 3 times the size that it's required, and lot number 2 is greater than twice the size that's required. And then lot number 3, again, is virtually in that same keeping of around 20,000, 27,000. So they're almost double. On this project, the controlling factor is the septic system and the requirements for setbacks. So that's why, although the parcel is fairly large, and you could probably get 8 lots based on size, you really can't get that in the grand scheme of things due to the requirements of the setbacks and the wells.
Do you have any intention for 3 houses, or is it just going to be 2?
Oh, it will be 3 houses. This is just a free split. This is an as of right. We can pull a permit basically on this one ASAP. When we went to the Wetlands Commission, the 3rd lot design was on there, all designed out, and we got approval. And the reason for that is this little 100-foot upland review area, the septic system is right adjacent to that. So again, we could have pulled any one of these as of right, just out of there. We just chose this one because it was the simplest. And then we have these 2.
There's a letter from, oh, sorry.
Sure, because I'm surprised the house, if it's on the other plans, why, I'm not sure why it's not on this one. But besides that, the way to get into that third lot is off of Cherry Street with the other two houses. So there's no secondary driveway here.
That is correct.
The reason it's not detailed on this plan is because this is actually a two-lot subdivision plan. What's subject to your jurisdiction are the two lots that are being proposed there. What Mike has called the third lot is actually not part of the subdivision. That's a split that's allowed without a subdivision requirement.
Okay, so we're not,
You're not approving that lot.
okay, it's already approved.
It doesn't require any planning and zoning
Yeah,
approval.
that's right, when you
Yes.
think about it, that whole parcel.
But it is kind of part, it is integral to the whole design of this thing, which is why Mike has described it the way he has.
Please got a picture of it.
Yep, yeah, I'll bring it around to everybody.
This is what the wetlands approved.
Correct, this is the third lot as of right, and you can see the driveway, everything is the same on this plan, we just took that out. So this is the third lot that we're talking about. You can see on the plan that's on the board, everything is up right to there. You can see the driveway's even there, and then we just erased that because it's as of
There's
right.
a fire truck turnaround on lot number 1 there?
On this one?
The one on my left, you're right, that one.
That one, yes, it's large enough for a fire truck to turn around. And actually, we've made these large enough on all of them so they can get in there. Obviously, a pumper can, but a ladder truck cannot.
Right, okay.
Any other questions?
I'll read a letter from Dennis Johnson.
What's it say?
It's dated today, and it says that soil tests conducted on the applicant's proposed subdivision on April 5th, 2011, revealed suitable soils for installation of code-complying septic systems for all three proposed lots. All proposed building lots will be serviced by public water. It is recommended that the applicant's proposed subdivision be approved with the following conditions. First, and only, that the engineer design septic system plans shall be prepared for lots 1, 2, and 3.
All right, I got one from Mark Damiani, dated March 1st. Sunset Creek Development, Millview Subdivision, Cherry Street and North River Street, map 46, lot 77, zone R1. The engineering department requested additional information regarding road right-of-ways, a proposed reconstruction plan, Cherry Street, and driveway details in its February 1st, 2017 memo to the commission. The applicant has provided right-of-way lines for Cherry Street, indicating that this portion of the street has approximate right-of-way width of 40 feet. A proposed plan and profile for the reconstruction of Cherry Street, along with the proposed subdivision, has been submitted. The proposed plan meets town road standards. The applicant has demonstrated adequate sight lines for the proposed driveways off Cherry Street, along with a geometric driveway detail in accordance with the town driveway standards. The engineering department is satisfied that all previous engineering concerns have been addressed with the latest subdivision plan revisions.
George, was there a letter from Kevin? Because I think there's a condition. Are you aware of the $5,000 fee?
That's,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's not Kevin's.
Oh, that would be
condition.
Kevin for the open
No,
space.
there's no open space proposed with
Yeah.
this subdivision. Open space is required in the subdivision code. However, the developer can make a contribution to the land acquisition fund in lieu of providing open space, and Jim Goodrich has agreed to contribute $5,000 to the land acquisition fund as part of this subdivision.
Make sure the condition wasn't coming out of nowhere.
Is there parameters for the donation?
And Kevin did have
Yes.
a condition in one of his letters. I believe it might have been the wetlands letter. It was this wall that runs across Cherry Street right now be relocated onto the subject parcel. And if we go to our town road plan, we physically have a call out that shows that wall being relocated as note number 7, relocate existing stone wall onto lot number 1. Yes.
Questions? Good? Everybody's good?
Mr. Chairman, is the public allowed to ask questions?
This is a site plan. I don't think so. This is not normally.
It's not required, but I would, you know. Certainly,
Someone
your
wants to ask a
choice.
question. It's not normally required for a subdivision. But if you'd like to ask a question, go ahead.
Well, I am Veronica Wallace, North River Street. I actually have several questions. First is that whole property is ledge. Do you have any idea whether they're going to be blasting?
The Question is there ledge on the property? Yes, there's a lot of ledge on the property.
Yeah, it goes right along the whole road.
But about half of it is actually ledge because we dug numerous test pits. The top portion is ledge. The bottom portion is beautiful sand and gravel across the bottom here, and then we get into North River Street. But to answer your question, the houses are going where the ledge is, so there will be blasting, yes.
Okay, so if there's blasting, will the neighbors get adequate notification? And I mean for real, because they were blasting at the condominium complex that used to be the Shoreline Times. Neighbors, including myself, were never notified. They blasted whenever they wanted to. It's just, it's not right to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I understand. Basically, we weren't involved with that project, but the typical project when somebody blasts is that they require a pre-blast inspection where an inspector will go out and look at the houses in the vicinity and physically document any cracks to the foundations or anything like that. So if they come around, I would suggest that you do let them in to do blast inspection. Second of all, they usually have seismographs. They don't put these big charges in that blow up. They put really the small charges because they realize that any blasting that they do, any damage to your house, they basically have to pay for. So yes, there will be blasting. Yes, there should be pre-blast inspections. That's usually a requirement of the blaster and the contractor.
Let me elaborate further. Blasting permits are, and the ordinances regulating blasting are administered by the fire department. They're not under the jurisdiction of planning and zoning or engineering or building departments. Those are administered by the fire department, so you should make sure that you touch base with the fire department, let them know you are aware that there's probably going to be blasting and that you want to be notified. And
Yeah, because they really dropped the ball last time. It was not good. My other comment or question is on North River Street, are there any road improvements being planned? Sidewalks and moving of the stone wall that's been there since probably 1639?
There are no road improvements planned for North River Street, and the road, the wall that you see in this vicinity, I don't know how old it is not planned to be moved at this time.
So it will remain?
It will remain on the plans. I can't speak as far as when they get into development. There will be a small portion that has to be removed in order to put the utilities in, whether the developer elects to put that small 10-foot, 15-foot section back, and that's up to them. But the wall is completely on their property. They can do as they please, but right now it's shown on the plans that it is going to remain. There's really no reason for us to have to touch it. You can see on our site development plans that we physically show a clearing limit line, okay, where the trees and the foliage will be cut, and that wall is far in there. Right now, we don't plan on having to go in there and cut any of that.
Can you orient me to where Cherry Street and North River Street are in terms of where the access to the development is going to be?
This is the intersection down here. Here's Cherry Street, here's North River Street, here's Mill Pond. The access point will be right here.
So by Whitehead's property, that other home, the driveway that goes up by that other home?
Correct. This is Whitehead's property in here, and it comes down.
So you're going in off of that road?
That is correct. Almost directly adjacent to the barn that's
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah. And then at the corner of the intersection, you talked about a dry well for runoff?
Correct.
Is that going to be connected to the runoff to the rest of North River Street? Because there is a severe erosion problem because of Cherry Street and the water that comes down there, and it's particularly bad in the wintertime.
Again-
There's, black ice if it freezes because there's nowhere for the drainage to go.
Nope, I get it. And that was one of the town engineer's concerns. Right now, there's nothing on Cherry Street. We are bettering the situation by 110% because
That's a personal opinion.
because we are putting in storm drainage where there's not. So we are taking some of the runoff off the road, we are putting into the drainage, and we are not adding any more from our development onto the site.
And about how many trees are you cutting down, do you know?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I didn't go out there and count them. We have a specific clearing limit shown on the plans, so everything is just not clear cut out there. And I do believe note number 17 calls out proposed clearing limit and limit of disturbance. So we show an area that our trees aren't supposed to be cut on our project plans. Again, this is a subdivision plan. just to show the feasibility of being able to build a house, build a driveway, build everything. When the contractor has detailed plans, that's when we physically put the buildings on there, we design the septic systems, we design the stormwater galley system. So this is showing that feasibly, these lots that we're creating can handle a 4-bedroom house without any problems or difficulties.
Sir?
Jack Phelan, across the street, 323 North River Street, the house and the barn in the back. So the entrance will be in front of my barn.
Yep.
What I'm wondering is you're widening the street from the entrance down to River Street,
Correct.
right? What about the rest of, is the town going to do it? It looks like it's going to be widening it into a narrow, I mean, you know, that road is, I guess I heard, the worst road in Guilford. It gets very narrow at the top. I wonder if, is the town going to widen the road the rest of the way?
That's something you'd have to ask Mr. Portley. Because we're doing the development here, he made it as a requirement that we do that work up in there to widen it. I don't know what the town's plan is for the rest of the road.
But then the cars literally have to stop, you know.
They neck
two
down.
cars can't pass.
Yep, they neck down, just like coming over to the Q Bridge. They have 4 lanes, and then it's back down to 2. I can only design to the requirements that they set, and that's what they set.
Sir?
Yeah, Walter Piper, North Street, Guilford. I had a question on the drainage. That lane is about 20 feet over the mill pond, and I was wondering, are your drainage analyses done so that you're sure that there wouldn't be any sewerage or drainage going into the mill pond?
Right now,
I mean, it's a lot of ledge.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult at that height and the ledge to calculate it.
yeah, it's really, what we did is we took the existing conditions here, and you can see we specifically put 24-inch galley system, an underground system for the roof leaders and everything. So any additional runoff is going into the ground, almost like its own little small detention system. Okay, so we provided that in both spaces. The dry well that we're putting in, right now there's anything that comes down Cherry Street just comes, screams right across, and comes right down into the parking lot in this vicinity. And virtually, at some point, may get into the pond as it speaks right now. What we're proposing is we're putting a crown in the road that you can see here right in the center line, which is what the town requires. So half that road will be flowing back into our swale. So will be collected. So we're actually reducing considerably the amount of water that's going to be coming.
That crown means like, it goes up like...
It's like this. It's very, very slight. You can't see it. Usually the yellow divider line is painted on it. So what happens is when a raindrop hits it, it goes down, it flows across the 11 feet wide lane and then into the drainage swale, and that gets collected in there.
When they analyze the septic systems, they're sure that there's enough.
Yep, absolutely. We dug, we dug 16 holes on the site. We ran 2 percolation tests. The percolation tests were less than 10 minutes. We'll just pick any one of these.
Just explain that.
Yeah, basically, when you take a bucket of water, if you have poor soils, like a topsoil with grass on it, and you dump it there, it just sits there and doesn't go into the ground. But if you took a bucket of water and you dumped it at the beach, it settles down really, really quickly. The soils that are in that lower level, we know that there's ledge up on top. The soils on the lower level are very, very well drained. For example, you know, there's about a foot of topsoil there on the site, and then it goes into like another 2 feet of just like silty, sandy layer, and then it gets into beautiful sand and gravel, which you would find at the beach. So,
Very good. Thank you.
yep.
Okay, George, a question about the stone wall. Could we put a requirement in the in this motion that stone wall that's on North Street gets restored to, if they have to go through it to put the utilities in, that stone wall is restored?
I think that would be a reasonable thing to include. That's actually not on the lot, however, that's part of the subdivision, is it? or any part of the subdivision, you could require that if the stone wall has to be taken down, it has to be replaced. I think that's a reasonable condition.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't have a problem with that, and,
Right.
you know, we're not out there to ruin everything. If you look where we physically put the utilities in, there's a break in the stone wall already. So we're trying not to have to take the wall down because it's extra work, and, you know, actually the stone wall looks nice going across there. So on lot number 2, the utilities going up there are in the gap. But for parcel A, you know, again, we would have to remove that rock to bring up the utilities. And then, you know, if you make it a condition, we don't have a problem with putting that rock back.
What does anybody else feel about that?
I feel like we're already making them build a road. I mean, it seems that they've gone above and beyond, you know, what we would normally
Yeah,
ask someone to do on a subdivision, to rebuild the town road.
yeah.
Just,
If you're not opposed to it, I'd like to just have a sentence in there that, you know, you're stating that all the stone walls will be left, when the project is done, they'll be left in the no worse a situation than they are right now.
Yes.
Something like that. Is that,
Yeah, we would agree to that, and that's the stone walls along North River Street. Obviously, we can't do that with the ones on Cherry Street because we're blowing out that whole road there. You know, we will relocate those onto the proposed highway line on lot number 1, which was a condition of the wetlands per Kevin McGee.
so we'll add that in? Would someone like to read the motion? Got it? Sunset Creek.
I got it. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a 2-lot subdivision plan for Sunset Creek Development, Cherry Street and North River Street, map 46, lot 77, as shown on Millview dated March 1st, 2017, prepared by Harkin Engineering and Anderson Engineering and Surveying. This application is approved with the following conditions. 1, town engineer, environmental planner, director of health comments. I guess that just means that you take those comments. 2, that the prior to an issuance of a building permit for any lot, $5,000 be paid to the Town of Guilford Land Acquisition Fund in lieu of open space for the subdivision. And 3, that the stone walls will be left on which?
The stone walls along North River Street
The stone walls along North River Street will be left in no worse condition when it's completed.
Yes.
Right? As today. Cool.
Okay, comments?
Any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? You voted, George?
I said aye.
Okay, good. All right.
Oh, hold on. How many people voted?
Oh, how many people voted?
He's taking over for Rich Wallace. He's sitting on the other side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
so Alan's off.
Alan's off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
You
okay.
didn't vote, right? No. We're good. 7 voted yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so moved. Applications to be received. How about reading these for me, Mr. Meyer?
Leaf Selander, 207 Fitch Hill Road, map 113, lot 20-4,
Zone R8 special permit application for accessory structure over 750 square feet, 1,200 square foot utility building. 273-94, received and set public hearing dated March 15th to be continued to April 5th for mandatory second public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Pete Ciortino, Americo Real Estate Company, U-Haul, 301 Boston Post Road, map 49, lots 30 and 31, zone TS3, special permit and site plan for motor vehicle rental and self-storage facility. Receive and set public hearing date, March the 15th, to be continued to April 5th for mandatory public hearing.
So, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Zoning
Yeah.
amendments.
We have zoning amendments to receive. May I read them, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
A recommendation of the Planning Committee to revise 273-19, accessory apartment to single-family dwelling, receive and set public hearing date of 4/5/17.
So moved.
Second?
Scratch the second one, that's what I'm withdrawing that one.
Okay, so we're doing the first one then. Someone moved it, did someone second it?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the minutes of our regular meeting of 2/5, and they appear substantially correct. I make a motion that they are approved.
Second.
Okay, any comments on the I read them.
They look good.
They look good.
No typos.
Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, inasmuch as there's no other business before the commission.
Several of you indicated that you're interested in the Connecticut Land Use Law Seminar. I think you all know who you are. And just confirming that you're all going. Rich, you're going? Weren't you on it? You've all been informed that it was approved. I think it's March 24th or something like that. It's a Saturday. George is going, Alan's going, and Walter Corbier is going. It's all been approved. Also, I want to ask the zoning committee to schedule a meeting. We have one application that we want to go over. Are you the chairman of the zoning committee?
Whenever.
Okay. You like to do it like a Monday at 5 o'clock kind of thing? It's your call. I can't.
Works for me.
Okay, we'll do a notice and everything on that then. Okay, thank you.
All set?
Yes.
Aye.
Make a motion to end the closed meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.